The latest numbers from the Calgary Real Estate Board are in. We're going to get into those in a moment with RE/MAX's Sam Correa. Nice to see you this morning, Sam.
Thank you.
Let's first talk about sort of the news of the day. Of course, everyone talking about the fire and some of the different impacts that we're seeing from Fort McMurray. You have an interesting take on this because we saw sort of some things happen after the flood that we didn't necessarily expect.
Correct.
So take us through that and what you expect from this.
Well, I think in the floods of 2013, as real estate agents, we just assumed the market would actually drop because many people, unfortunately, were hugely affected. Right. But what happened, which is the complete opposite, is a lot of people actually, there was more buyers in the market. And of course, we're a supply and demand business. Yeah. And buyers ended up coming and buying homes in Calgary on the outskirts. I think we're going to see a lot of people coming back to Calgary or Edmonton right away, start renting homes and just getting some ownership.
So definitely more pressure perhaps on the rental market.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they're able to buy, I think that would be a good time for people to do that. Yeah. A lot of inventory. So I do think we're going to see a little spike in sales from some people who unfortunately need to have some ownership right away.
Yeah, we've got some new numbers from the Calgary Real Estate Board. Before we get specific, we'll just get into the first one here and then maybe we'll talk afterwards about sort of a bigger picture synopsis. But so this is the number of sales year to date, obviously down significantly.
Yeah, year to date only down 9.9%. And what basically that means is, you know, last year we saw about 5,800 sales. This year we're down to about 5,200 sales year to date, which is only down about 577 so far.
Okay, number of listings year to date. I think we've got that as well, guys. We can go to the next graphic. Here it is here.
So the listings are obviously increasing slightly with the lower sales, and we're up about 6.4%. That's not a huge surprise when you're seeing that the sales are down, obviously. This year we have 5,700 listings, which is 349 more, which is just down about 2.4%.
And this is interesting on the new side. So is this builders just pulling back in anticipation of sort of slower times? Is that with the drop in newer listings?
Correct. There's not as many new home starts this year, obviously.
Okay, average sale price, of course, people are always interested in that. And we've actually seen it gone up.
The average sale price in this segment has actually increased about $3,200 there, as you can see. Biggest reason is, of course, we're seeing a bit of increase in the million-plus properties. Right. And as a result, with homes on the million-plus, we're up about 10%.
I mean, this is significant, but we talked a lot sort of this time last year about how homes in that million-plus were not moving at all. And correct. So is this a bit of catch-up, Sam?
Well, I think in the first 6 months of last year, people were not buying million-dollar homes. And it took about a good 5 to 6 months before they realized, okay, this is the new price. Let's now jump into the market. So it's not a surprise to me that this million-plus market or buyer is now increased from last year to today. The prices are at a level where they feel comfortable to jump in, and this year we're up about 10% in that category.
Okay. You had a fascinating conversation with one of the, I think, head folks down at Krebs about sort of, everyone wants to know where the bottom is, Sam, and where we're at in terms of real estate. So what did you hear in terms of what kind of lag there might be around some of the job losses and that kind of thing?
I had a meeting with Anne-Marie Laurie, which is our chief economist at Calgary Real Estate Board, and basically just trying to predict when the bottom is. Certainly when we kind of look at when job losses happen. And when people have their job losses, the last thing that they actually will sell is their home. That takes about a year. And they will cut other luxuries in their life, recreational property. Obviously, hopefully they're living on one income instead of two. And it takes about a year for people to get to the point where they're actually losing the home or have to sell their home and maybe downsize. So we're seeing that happen already, but it's about a year.
So the expectation, I think we had talked about, is January of 2017 is maybe when we'll see the sort of likely the bottom of this?
I think if we don't see the market increase, where people aren't getting back into getting more jobs, and certainly there could be some lower prices at the end of this year happening for sure.
Great stuff as always. It's RE/MAX's Sam Correa, and for more information, head to samcorrea.ca.
The Market, sponsored by Sam Correa of RE/MAX House of Real Estate.